South Jersey baseball guru. I think that's fair to say. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, Sully, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, man. How's everything?
Things are going okay. Things are going all right. So we'll, just getting ready for some baseball, I guess, over the next couple of days, see what's going on, and take it from there.
Now, Kevin, obviously, the whole South Jersey, I think, is disappointed that you were let go this week from the Courier Post. Obviously, it's a tough business. You get layoffs, that kind of thing. What was your reaction to that?
To be completely honest with you, and I've told other people the same thing, that am I surprised in that there were layoffs? That would be no. I know that this corporation is continually looking to do certain things, although I can't definitively tell you what those things are because I just don't know. So when there's been a series of layoffs, and it's been the last couple of years, every couple of months something seems to happen. I just don't know what the grand plan is for that corporation. Was I a little bit shocked that it was me? To be completely honest with you, again, yes. Based on really on the biggest factor being that I think my experience and my work ethic and really my knowledge of South Jersey and kind of having a pretty good idea of what's going on in specific areas, I think that it should at least make me a valuable player. And for whatever particular reason, I don't know the specific reason, but for, their process of reducing their workforce, my job was eliminated, and therefore I'm a free agent. So, I will say this, that, it's only been about 3 days, but in the first 24 hours, I was extremely pleased, I guess, and really, really taken aback in the fact that so many people reached out to me, and so many people showed an interest in that. Basically, a lot of people expressing that, they were disappointed, and that, what I brought to South Jersey high school sports in particular, and I had done other things over the years, but really the majority of my work was with South Jersey high school sports, that something is going to be missing. And, you're in the same business. Others will tell you the same thing, that a lot of times you don't hear the positives, I guess, the good things from people that you'd think maybe once in a while you'd like to hear. Not that you want a pat on the back, but most of the time you hear from people as to why you didn't do something.
Right.
Why wasn't this in the paper? Why weren't you at this event? How could you miss this? It was somewhere. It was in another publication. It wasn't in yours. And in the last, like I said, in the last 3 days, I haven't received one comment negatively, like, "Oh, thank God Kevin Minnick is no longer working." It was a very appreciative overall, I guess, outlook approach to me, that I kind of think back. I sit back now and I think that maybe I was doing something right, and there were people out there who did appreciate it. And although you may not have heard from them, they're out there, and maybe it was just the fact that I had done it for so long, it became the norm. So, people didn't have to say every time they saw you, "Oh, nice story, good effort,"
right?
Because it was all basically, without patting myself on the back, it was always there. So, in that way, it kind of hurt a little bit, but let me tell you something. I am not dead. I am not going anywhere, and I will be back very soon. And I'm going to continue to do maybe not as much as I had done in the past, but I will continue to do the same types of things that I've done and people, I hope, will continue to follow me and follow whatever organization, it happens to be that I'm doing things for.
Yeah, Kevin, in a weird kind of way, the complaints are just they kind of show the passion of the fans. They want you at their game. They want you to be there. They want glory days. They want the press. They want all this coverage. So when you're not there, it's like, hey, why weren't you there? Because they want to see what you can bring to the table.
You're absolutely right. And the days so much of a newspaper article where mom or dad or even really grandmom and grandpop clip it out of the paper and shove it on the fridge with a magnet are long gone. But there's still ways of kids' names to get out there. And the Gannett Corporation, on a whole, the Courier Post obviously was not the only paper to go through this process. And I just looking around, I noticed that there's quite a few people got laid off, and a lot of them dealt with high school sports. And from my perspective, high school sports is a gold mine, and you can get professional coverage, you can get college coverage of any team you want from any number of people, and it's readily available. But when it comes down to high school sports, and you're talking, in the state of New Jersey, there's over 200,000 kids playing sports up and down the state, from crew to track to baseball to volleyball, you name it, and there is not, you can't just go to CNN or MLB and find out what Davis Schneider did for Eastern yesterday. It doesn't happen. It's a gold mine for people and things to really zone in on, because otherwise they're not going to get anything. And I truly think that there are people out there who, even when you cover them one time in a season, it may be 200 words in a notebook. It may even be 2 paragraphs. When you see them people, they are truly appreciative of what you did. So as far as I'm concerned, high school sports is an area that it's certainly not going away. High school sports is as strong as it's ever been, and it's going to continue to get stronger as the years go on. That it deserves people to kind of take care of them. So that's always kind of been my thing, and people always know. I've always told people, and my thing has always been this: that every kid has a story. It's my job to find it, and I'm going to continue to try to do that.
Yeah, you make a great point. A specific example of that, I was out at ACIT softball this past week, and one of the girls, Elizabeth Davis, was going for her 100th hit, so I went out there, covered a game, wrote a story about it for the website, threw up some photos, and the next day, Coach Ryan Stager sends me an email. He's like, "Hey, dude, thanks so much for coming out to our game." The girls were talking about it all day in school before practice, so it does mean a lot to these people when you get out there and talk to their kids and write about the game and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, it absolutely does, and especially for those, there's going to be teams and kids that are going to get more than others, and it's just the nature of things. But there's kids out there from teams that may go 1-15, 2-12, and you can't discount the effort that they're putting in for their school and for their sport. Are they as are they as good as somebody else? In the big picture, no. But you can't tell somebody that they don't practice as hard as somebody else. They just may not have the gifts to do so, and those people are truly appreciative. And when you sit there, and in the advent of video, really, with a phone, I can sit there and talk to a kid after a game, and I know that their mom or dad is like right behind me, videotaping the whole thing.
Right, yeah.
Because it's a big deal to them. It's a big deal. So I think, like I said, high school sports and the community of high school sports itself is very, I think in the grand scheme and in the big picture, truly appreciates the efforts of Mike McGarry, of a Tom Rimback or a John Lewis in the Burlington County Times, of Phil Anastasia, of Russoman and the Hamilton Gazette, and any number of other places. Whether it's a website, a newspaper, what you do. People truly appreciate that. And, it's just the fact that this industry is getting so far away from the printed product as far as a daily newspaper is concerned, it takes a big hit. But, I think as technology continues and as people, slowly, hopefully, realize that the print industry, as far as a newspaper is concerned, is going to go away. How soon, I have no idea, but it's going away, that you just have to turn to the alternative, and that alternative eventually is going to be the norm. So, when people don't want to subscribe to a website, they don't want to pay for the content because they really haven't ever done it. It's always been free. Well, they bought the newspaper. They paid the 50 cents for the newspaper at the stand, or bought X number of copies when there was a story on their kid or their kid was mentioned. And they have to take that same philosophy now and basically just turn it to the web and realize that, okay, well, instead of clipping out the copy of Johnny's 4-for-5 game, we're now going to have to print out the copy of the story from Johnny's 4-for-5 game, because that's the way we're going to see it from now on. So, I hope that people start to really look in that direction, because those who want to continue to hang on to the printed product are going to miss out on a lot of good stuff from a lot of good people, because it's going to be on the web. And it's just a change of mindset. And I think once people do that, they're going to, it'll take a little bit, but they're going to forget about the ink that got on their fingers on Sunday morning, and they're going to enjoy the fact that there's still something out there about their kid.
Talking with Kevin Minnick, local baseball expert. Kevin, let's turn our attention to some baseball. We got the Diamond Classic cutoff date. We're going to learn, I guess, tomorrow night who's involved in that. What's on your radar in terms of what we should be looking for in that tournament?
Well, like Mike McGarry had said before, the Diamond Classic is a big deal, and it's the longest running tournament in the state, of its kind. And there's going to, obviously just 16 teams, 10 automatic berths based upon the respective divisions in South Jersey and how they're set up for the purposes of the tournament, and then 6 at-large teams. So, your 10 automatics at this point are pretty much locked in, unless there's some stray games today that may get played from makeups or rain from yesterday or whatever. That, to be honest with you, we just don't know about right now.
Right.
But for the most part, the automatics are taken care of, and it's those 6 at-large teams that you really have to look at. And we've done a decent job so far of really digging into that. And figuring out, those at-large teams, because you really want to get, you want the best teams playing in this tournament. And, I think on a yearly basis, we've done a pretty good job of making that happen. There's always going to be 1 or 2, maybe 3 teams that, feel as though they should make it, and they're going to be on the outside looking in. It's just the nature of it. And this year it's particularly difficult because there are a lot of very, very good baseball teams. And, we've talked about it over the past couple of weeks about the quality of baseball in South Jersey. And there's going to be a lot of teams that you're going to look at and say, like, man, they probably should have been in, or this team was good, and it's very difficult. And it's just a matter of, the fact is there's only 6 spots. And, would we love to expand the tournament and make it a 24-team tournament, make it a 32-team tournament? You'd love to get more teams involved as well. But at the same time, you don't want to water it down and take away its strength. And its strength is the fact that this collective 16 group, for the most part, are the best baseball teams at least at this point, in South Jersey. So, like Mike had said, 6 o'clock tomorrow night, we'll have, those teams will be released, and, we'll send it out. We'll send it out through Twitter, and a couple other people will have it available as well. Everything starts next Saturday. So it'll be, it's always, like Mike said also, the first day is always a really exciting day with the doubleheaders at the 4 different sites. So it's an exciting time for South Jersey baseball, and I think people will be pleased at the matchups when they eventually get taken care of.
Good stuff, as always, Kevin. Kevin, before we let you go, I know there's a ton of people that want to keep seeing what you're up to, and give us your new Twitter handle so people can follow you and find out all about what you got going on.
Yeah, I mean, those that were following me, just stay right along. All I did was change the name, but for others that want to follow, it's just now K Minnick Sports. At K Minnick Sports, pretty simple, pretty easy to follow. Look me up, and like I said, I appreciate those who want to continue to follow, and those who have reached out, and hopefully people who will start to maybe be new readers. So I'll be out there. I'm going to have there'll be stuff available here and there for some different places, I'm sure. And like I said, I'm not going anywhere. So it's not a death sentence for me. So whether my career continues full time in this industry, or whether I take a complete 360 and do something else, I'm still going. My long-term goal is to still maintain my presence in South Jersey sports the same as I had been doing. It's just going to be for somebody else.
Great stuff, as always, Kevin. And enjoy the rest of your weekend. We appreciate you coming on every week.
Hey, Sully, I want to continue to be on as long as you have me.
You might be the co-host. We're going to get rid of Cole here.
I got some time now, so maybe we can talk about it.
All right, man. Good stuff, buddy.
All right, thanks again. I'll talk to you soon.
No problem. Thanks, Kevin.
Bye-bye.
That was Kevin Minnick, outstanding high school sports writer, so we always appreciate him coming on board.